Alright, so the first step here is to remove this top cover with these two screws right here. Set this and the air filter on your side, and then these 4 bolts here need to get removed. Also, when you're doing this, just make sure none of the screws or bolts fall down into the air intake into the carburetor. You don't want to lose those down there, so just watch and be careful about that. Alright, take that, set that aside. Alright, next I want to remove my bullwhip throttle control from the throttle right here. So I'll just slip that out, and then that's removed. As well as I want to remove the exhaust here, and I need to remove this bolt and that bolt down there. Alright, so we're going to remove these here. Alright, set that aside. Next, we need to remove this bolt. There's another bolt down there, and then these little bolts up on top here, as well as one underneath. So let's start with these on top. Alright, so for these on the top here, there's, I believe, 5 of them we need to remove, and I'm going to be using a T20 star tip for that. So now, to get to this other one here, I need to remove this, so I'm just going to pull this up, and then I need to pull this back so I can get out the little cable there. We'll set that aside. And now I can get to this one right here. Alright, so those 5 bolts are out now. So now let's remove the gas tank off the bottom, as well as these here. Alright, let's remove this one here. This one, I believe, is a T27 star. Yes, a T27. So that one comes out of there. And there's another one down on this side here, but I think I'm going to have to remove some other things in order to be able to access this bolt over on this side. So let's undo the bottom one on the tank first, and then we can hopefully pull this off. So this bolt right here is the bolt we need to remove. Alright, so I think we should be able to pop off this tank, hopefully. We may need to loosen the engine to get to some of this stuff. Let's pop out this little connecting rod here that goes down to the throttle. Again, this is a T27 star. Alright, so to get this one off, I'm going to use a wrench here. And now I'm going to try to get my fingers in there if I can. If not, I'm going to keep going with the wrench. So now I can get my fingers on it. It makes it a little easier to twist. This bolt is probably the hardest bolt to get to. I don't know if you can see it, but it is right down there. Alright, now the whole assembly here should come right off. We just have to watch this rod and the spring here, and it should all come right off. Yep, so now that this part is off, we can get the new one, or the other one, and put it on. Alright, so now that I have the part from the other one, I can go ahead and begin to assemble this and stick this one back on. So our spring and I need to get some of the rods off of the other one for this one here, so let me grab those. Alright, so the one rod goes on here, and then this other one goes on right over here. Just make sure when you're doing this you know where the stuff goes and how it all goes back on together so that you don't lose track of things. Also, don't forget to attach your governor spring. Alright, we should be set to put everything back on here. Make sure everything's clipped in the way it should be. And then we should be able to start bolting this back on. And we're going to bolt this back on. Once all the bolts are on, then it should be set and ready to go. Make sure these bolts are nice and snug so that they don't vibrate off when the machine's running. When the engine's running here, you don't want these bolts coming off. Now for the throttle cable. Alright, I'm going to double check and make sure everything's tightened up good. And it looks like it is. Alright, so now I'm going to reinstall my bullwhip throttle control. And that goes in right here. Alright, now that that's tightened up, we can go ahead and put back on our top cover. Alright, so now go ahead and install your air filter, and then the air filter cover here. Putting these two flathead screws back in. One on either side. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble with this cover and the bolts wanting to go actually through the holes. There we go. Finally, the last thing to install is the guard, the exhaust can, and I'll just Alright, we have got her all back together, so she should now be ready to roll. I think everything is tightened up nicely, and it's all back the way it should, so we'll see how it runs in the morning.